September 12th, 2018, Chad and I took possession of our beautiful new home, and moving has been a huge process for us. Back in 2016, we created the 10 Things to Toss series, and we started making these videos talking about 10 things around the house based on a theme that we wanted to start decluttering. We haven't done one of these videos in a while, but when we were preparing to move and then going through the actual process of moving and unpacking, it made us think that it is definitely time to do another one of these 10 Things to Toss videos, because if I'm being honest, it was probably more like 10,000 things to toss. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the process that I went through getting ready for the move, moving itself, and finishing up the move as it pertains to clutter and things that I was really unsure about hanging on to. Because when you go through a move, you really have to think twice about what you're packing and unpacking and storing again. And just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel and give this video a thumbs up if you feel motivated to declutter when you watch a 10 Things to Toss video. We went on a candle shopping spree about a year and a half ago, because who doesn't love scented candles? Well, we love them. But what ended up happening was the things that you like in the store, you smell them, they smell great, you light them up in your home, and then you realize, this smells a little too much for my liking. And then of course that candle sits there, you think maybe one day I'll light that candle, but that day never comes. If you have a candle that you don't like the smell of, but you really like the container of, like this marble one here, you can put your candle in the freezer. All the wax will become very easy to manipulate. You can pop it out, clean the candle holder, and then repurpose it for something. But of course, don't do that unless you actually have a purpose for the candle holder. I've really come to appreciate uniformity in a kitchen. So looking at things like plates, bowls, glasses, and cutlery, I really like when everything is from the same set, not a random mishmash, a collection of things. And when you live in a space for years at a time, you get a glass here, you break a couple, you still have one left behind, and by the end of it, you're left with a cupboard of most of the same glasses and then a few random ones. So I took any mismatched glassware, I wrapped it up, and I put it in a donation box. And we decided that we're going to go and pick up these glasses, which are from IKEA. I think a lot of people have them. They're super inexpensive, so if they break, they're easy to replace, and they look nice and uniform. After we packed everything up, we realized we had a lot of storage bins left behind. And this brought up some feelings for me, because sometimes I'll watch videos and I see people who buy tons of storage bins to store little things and kind of solve problems that don't really exist, or store things that don't really need storage. And the truth is, if you're constantly going through your clutter and you're getting rid of things, you don't need copious amounts of storage bins. And you know what? We were guilty of that too. So one of the things that we decided when we moved was to get rid of a lot of our storage bins. We donated them, and we decided we're just not going to store things that we don't need, ergo reducing the amount of storage bins that we have. I know this can be a really polarizing point, but I also made sure that I looked through my sentimental items, and I wasn't able to part ways with many, but I was able to get rid of a few. So there was this time with my grandmother where I went and I painted some pottery with her. It was right before she passed away, and I had a few pieces. Well, there was one that was just not nice, so I ended up getting rid of that one. But there was one that I really liked that I'm not going to do anything with aside from keep in a memento box, but at least I was able to slim that down because I was just honest with myself. Do I like this? Do I need this? No. But the other one, I felt it was important to keep. I love Chad, bless his heart, but honestly, we have a collection of cables that makes me sick. And he is sitting right over there, and he is looking down at his iPad because he doesn't even want to make eye contact with me right now. And I feel like a lot of you guys are in the same situation. You see, we have cables like, I don't even know what they're for. There's like R2-D2 cables and plug-ems and stick-em cable. Like, I don't even know what these things are. They're all kinds of colors. And I typically don't like to enforce things in this house, but I've really laid down the law with Chad in this cable collection because it sort of angers me, in case you haven't been able to pick up on that. So cables are something that we are working on. It is a work in progress, but we are working on decluttering that right now.
There ain't no such thing as an R2-D2 cable!
Riley is almost 9 months old. It's given us quite a bit of time to accumulate baby stuff. And we've been pretty ruthless about what we buy and what we accept from friends or gifts that we ask for. Ruthless, when I say that, I mean we've just asked for things that are useful, that we want, that we need, and that are sustainable. But some things have come our way that we haven't really been a fan of. Or, when a baby is small and they need to test out different bottles, you have to buy one bottle and see if they like it, and if they don't like it, you have to buy another one. All this to say, there are certain baby things that we have acquired over time that we are not fans of and we do not plan to use with future kids. So what we've done is we've sorted through everything, we're setting it up for certain, age-appropriate categories, and then anything that we don't like and we don't plan to use again, we are moving on from. Packing up a kitchen is overwhelming, to say the least. And going through the motions of packing it up, you have to scrutinize every item that you're putting into a box, and then you have to think, is there going to be a new place for this in my new house? And then once you unpack that item, you have to think about, where do I actually want to put this? And that could not have been more true when it came to pantry items. So any dry storage, coffee, tea, spices, herbs, and cans and jars of stuff. I tried to be as minimal as possible. I wanted to cook off as many things as I could before we moved and bring as little as possible, because that stuff is heavy. And then spices expire, and coffee and tea, maybe there was something that was buried that I hadn't used in a long time. So I remember actually going through all of that stuff when we were listing the house, and I got rid of some things so that our cabinets didn't look as cluttered. But then moving, I thought I got rid of a few more things. Unpacking, I got rid of even more. So even the little spice jars, and I thought, okay, I don't need this jar anymore. Now, for those of you who are wondering, there is one special item that has been with Chad and I for many, many years, and that is the famous, or should I say infamous, taco kit. And yes, it's here. We had furniture and decor that made sense in our old home. Decor being anything from a planter to a vase, something on the wall, or a little decor item like a statue, or not a statue, those little tchotchkes that you get at a home store, and you put them in your house and it makes it look nicer. We had a lot of that stuff that we thought made our old house look really nice, but then when we were moving into this space and we were settling on the theme and the decor and what we wanted this house to feel like, a lot of that stuff didn't make the cut. It just didn't make sense anymore. And we thought, well, we could keep it and just use it in the guest room, or put it here or put it there, or box it up and save it for later. It felt like it didn't make sense. Frankly, I just didn't want to store it, because what was I going to do with it? Go down in 3 years and decide I want this vase from 100 years ago? No, I know that math doesn't make sense, but you guys get me. The things that we did decide to keep were items that we felt transitioned really well from one space to the other. For example, that famous yellow pineapple behind me. And the funny thing is, so many of you have asked me about that pineapple. It was just a random thing that I picked up at HomeSense, which is kind of like the Canadian version of Home Goods. Anyway, the pineapple made the cut, but there was quite a bit of furniture and decor items that did not. So we are donating a lot of that stuff because we don't have time to sell it. However, if you do have the time, there are buy and sell groups, there are local Facebook groups where you can post a lot of these higher value items and sell them or get rid of them. But the way we're doing it, we're just donating it, and we feel like, let it beautify someone else's space instead. Every family or every household should have a good quality filing cabinet that's organized and keeps your household papers available and intact, so that if you ever get audited or you ever need to reference that paper, it is easily accessible. We live in a house where we not only have the two of us, we have a baby, we have 2 cats, a household, and 3 businesses. We have a lot of paper. In fact, we have one of those big old banker's filing cabinets. It's in our storage room. So before we moved, I actually went through, it was grueling, but I went through all of our paper, I got rid of it, I put it in a box, and I took it to my local office supply store where they had a shredding service. You could just drop off the box, you watch them stick everything in a big old shredder, and you pay, I think it was 20 bucks for a huge box, so it was very worth it. Packing and unpacking a linen closet was an overwhelming task. Although I have to say, the linens that we had specifically were perfectly reasonable for our room, a guest room, and Riley's room. The area where we were challenged, though, were towels and cloths. Yes, we have a lot of towels and a lot of cloths. Now, there were towels that we had that were kind of those old beater towels, and we thought, you know what? The time has come, we're moving into a new house. We have the towels we love, the ones that we always go to use whenever we take a shower. So you know what? why do we have the other ones kicking around? We don't really need them. The other thing we really slimmed down were our cloths. So we went through and we plucked everything out. So now all we have, of course, are Maker's Clean microfiber cloths from our current selection. And it feels so good to know that anytime I go into my cloth bin, I'm always picking out a good quality cloth that will do the trick. And because I think it's so important to have your closet stocked with only the best microfiber cloths, it is Black Friday, and we do have a Black Friday sale going on. But this is unlike any other Black Friday sale we've had, because in the past, we've never done this much. It is a 40% off site-wide sale. You don't need a coupon code. Go to makersclean.com, get your 40% off now. We sold out last year. The goal here is to blow out our inventory because we are bringing in so much new stuff for 2019. It's gonna be amazing, but we wanna get these cloths in your hands right now so we can free up that shelf space. If you wanna see what we're up to during the rest of the week, you can follow along on Instagram. I'm at Melissa Maker, Chad is at the Chad Reynolds, and the two of us are at Clean My Space. Here are a couple of other videos I think you're going to love, and if you wanna learn more about Maker's Clean microfiber cloths, you can click this button right over here. There is a button down there that lets me know you care, so click it if you liked this video, and click this button right here to subscribe and begin your journey to a cleaner life. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.